This is not a reflection on my council mates. This is not a reflection on city staff. This is Jack and Jackie. And what we're going to talk about today is safe cycling and what we can do to make cycling safer in Burlington, and what we have been doing over the last number of years in Burlington to improve the lot for cyclists. Not a lot of technical stuff, just pictures and fluff. Okay, the first picture you have happens to be a picture that was a promotion picture. You see our mayor and Councillor Sharman. I'm somewhere way back in the back, I think on rollerblades as a matter of fact, but anyway. This is a picture from the Car-Free Sunday event and promotional event, and that's what that picture was from. So, what we're going to do today, we're going to talk about Car-Free Sundays, 2012, 2013, and beyond. We're going to talk about the Great Waterfront Trail Adventure, 2011, 2012, and around Lake Ontario, 2012. We're going to talk about the Great Waterfront Trail Adventure 2013 and around Lake Erie 2013. And then we're going to get into facts and figures a little bit, cycling in Burlington, past, present, and future. So, Car-Free Sundays, this is actually a brochure. I'm not going to read the whole thing. I had to steal material that we had. But this is a brochure that we actually took to the merchants for the 2 locations that we had Car-Free Sundays this summer. And it was describing what Car-Free is all about. So some of you know, some of you don't. Opening streets and promoting healthy lifestyles where all people, walkers, runners, bikers, mobility device users, seniors, adults, and children can enjoy a day of healthy physical activities in our city and on our streets. And I'll tell you, on Appleby Line, people were so enthused they'd never been able to have Appleby Line closed and walk on it. Grant Street a little different. We've been doing it for years, but Appleby Line. So it really became more of a street fest than actually a cycling event. But it certainly was about active living in Burlington. So we encourage the businesses to set up an event or display, spread the word to their customers and place a poster in their window, hold a sidewalk sale. Ideas for activities, we had sports, we had bike shops, we had sidewalk displays, we had the Team Tour Band, which is a real hit. And what was different about the Team Tour Band, we had the Team Tour Band allow children from the audience to march with them. And that's something, again, they never get to do in the formal presentations. Doggy rest stops, skateboards, rollerblades, clowns, giant card games. Scooby Soccer was a phenomenally popular event. Sunday, June 10th, Southeast Burlington. A couple of ladies with a child in a wagon. And then the Sunday, July 15th shot is one of the marketplace. We got smarter, we put the businesses all together. Both of the days were very, very hot, especially the July 15th one. Probably not the best choice, but we'll get to that in a minute. So wrap-up meeting notes, which is where we're getting to. Car-Free, thank you. We could not have put this on. It was really the councillor's office and the mayor's office, Paul, Rick and I, and lots of help from lots of staff. But really it was the 2 offices that put the event on. And it couldn't have been done without a huge team of volunteers. And we had between 20 and 40 people. I'm going to say 15 that met continuously. Whether it's Kelly Arnott from VR Pro, Wayne Brown, Dave Miller from Sound and Music Festival, the backup support, the Restaurant Association, the Hotel Association, and the Downtown BIA were all significant contributors to the event. The report will be coming to committee in November that will propose 4 Car-Free Sunday events in 2013, including Appleby Line, downtown again, Brent Hills, Guelph Line, Upper Middle Road area. So we're looking to have a couple in the north next summer. So the proposed dates, though, we're getting smarter, second year. Summer's too hot. So we want to do May, June, September, and October. While the kids are still in school and you don't have quite as much heat. Getting the M.M. Robinson Band out on Appleby Line, in June was awesome. They did a really good job. The report will include recommendations, including a budget, $5,000 per event. We want to try and make a cookie cutter event that we can roll them out a lot easier than this year. This year we spent $8,600, funded $5,000 in a budget, $1,000 from each of the 3 sponsors, and the balance came from our councillor or mayor's budget. Recommendations that will be coming forward in a subsequent report: city budget $5,000, the city events team be responsible for operating events in 2013 with the councillor and mayor's office. The events team be directed to develop an event in a box tool. The events team advertise for volunteers to form local community teams and assist in the event operation. So we don't want to just have a group from City Hall doing it. We want to take each of the 4 neighborhoods and get them to make it a neighborhood street fest event, so that the neighborhoods really take each event and make it their event. We have the overall format, but the neighborhoods make it theirs. That the events team report back in late 2013 on the viability of events being operated totally by local neighborhood committees in 2014, which is where we'd like to go. So first year, Councillor and Mayor's office did it. 2013, Councillor and Mayor's office and more support from staff, and 2014, hopefully more. This gets us into the Great Waterfront Trail Adventure Route and Itinerary. Jackie and I in 2011 did the ride from Niagara-on-the-Lake to the Quebec border, 720 kilometers. And great ride. I'll tell you, it teaches you things about Ontario that you have no idea exist. And even riding between here and Toronto, people do not know how many beautiful beaches there are that from your car you don't have a clue about. So that's the route. That gives you the breakdown of the number of kilometers. This is all available. Francine can print it off for anybody or send it to anybody. Perspectives. What a great lakefront that few Ontarians are aware of. There is no such thing as a bad bike lane. Some are just better than others. The Waterfront Trail may not be perfect, but is ready to market to recreational cyclists. The other thing I want to talk about quite a bit in the presentation is tourism. Cyclotourism can be effectively promoted. There are 41 communities from the Niagara to Quebec border. So cyclotourism is a big increase for us, possibility for us. It's a way to repackage hidden or forgotten local attractions, brings the demand to get to know communities. The Waterfront Trail is well positioned to tap into two developed cycling tourism markets, Quebec and the US. Quebec cyclists spend $135 million annually on cycling tourism. And according to the American League of American Bicyclists, they spend $47 billion on cyclotourism. Neither market knows enough about the Waterfront Trail and the great cycling tourism opportunity it represents. With a vibrant downtown, lovely natural beaches, sand dunes, hotels, shopping on Burlington's waterfront, we are well suited to serve as an overnight destination for cycling tourists coming from Toronto or Niagara or Hamilton. Toronto to Burlington is approximately 60K, a nice relaxing day's ride for most recreational cyclists. Burlington should augment its Waterfront Trail signage to provide clear direction and distance notices between attractions. Tourism Burlington provides an excellent paper-based map featuring the stops for the GWTA Great Waterfront Trail Adventure participants, but it is preferred to have signage or pavement markings. It's pretty hard when you ride your bike to be looking at a map at the same time. The Waterfront Regeneration Trust coordinates trail-wide initiatives such as signage and promotion and media coverage. GWTA is an effective and low-cost way to promote the Waterfront Trail. There's 41 partners and so on. Rest Stop organization and significant political participation in the Great Waterfront Trail Adventure demonstrates the commitment of the partnership. Consistently over the 4 years of the GWTA, there have been 30 to 40 political representatives from all levels of government participating. The first year we rode, I think we had a dozen political representatives, including one gentleman from down on the Lake Erie shoreline. He actually is a minister as well as being a councillor. And he did the whole ride because this year, and we'll get to that, the ride is going to be along Lake Erie, not along Lake Ontario. The Waterfront Regeneration Trust won't go into their funding. It seems though as Burlington participation is waning in that. This is the first day of the ride in 2011. And the reason I've got this here, a couple of things. The Waterfront Trail is 30% on dedicated paths, 30% on residential roads, and 40% on secondary highways. Most sections, such as the one shown in the picture, have paved shoulders and bike lanes. The Waterfront Trail surveys riders and has learned 53% rate the trail as very good for cycling, 19 is excellent, so we're already up to 72, 22% rated as good, 65% rate the trail as well marked, however received many comments from participants pointing out areas where signage was needed. 54% feel very safe, 46% feel somewhat safe, so we're over 90% there. 97% feel safer cycling on secondary roads if there is a paved shoulder. This particular picture, I want you to note this is a secondary road, paved secondary road. That on-road bike lane is about 2.5 feet. This is our Burlington rest stop, so I had to put this one in to promote Burlington down on the waterfront. That particular Sunday morning, the lake was absolutely crystal clear. There were just those little ripples in the water, and this is at 7:30 in the morning. The sun glistening on those ripples. You could not ask for a nicer time to be showing off our beautiful Spencer Smith Park and our piece of Lake Ontario. The Tourism Burlington folks did a fabulous job welcoming people with clappers. They had a great butt break, lots of good food and healthy refreshments and so on. That's one of the beauties of doing the Waterfront Trail Adventure Ride, because all the communities try to outdo each other on how they treat the riders. So it's a great fun event. And this is one of the folks, is actually the fellow from Lake Erie that's in that picture, and that's just a shot in front of the Tourism Burlington. After riding Burlington's unsafe waterfront trail from Grant Street to Burrow Oak along Lakeshore Road, we arrive at the Oakville border and their beautiful new on-road bike lanes from Burrow Oak almost to Bronte. As we make our way into the historic downtown of Oakville, cyclists will be directed to the town. You don't have to see that part. But take a look at this picture closely. This is Lakeshore Road, just barely east of Bronte Road. 2 lanes, 2 on-road bike lanes. That's it. More about that to come. We need on-road bike lanes now, and the reduction of the left turn lane now to 2 to 3 feet will give the required space. I'm going to come back to that too. Skip ahead of that. This is a shot from day 4 in Ajax. This is the mayor of Ajax, and Eleanor McMahon, Burlington resident, cycling committee member, and executive director of Share the Road. You see her stickers over behind us. She was presenting the mayor of Paris of Ajax with an award for their great work on safe cycling trails and lanes. It's where we have to go, folks. We have to make cycling safe. Burlington's Lakeshore is not. Wicklow Beach, this is a shot I took in particular. This is paved shoulder of Highway 2. A nice, comfortable ride in spite of the 80-kilometer speed limit. It's a nice, wide shoulder. It's paved. You don't care if the cars beside you are going 80 or 90. You're comfortable. This is a cute one, too. I had to throw this one in. This is the Bloomfield Bicycle Company. If you look closely, well, you can read it very clearly. TV sucks. Ride your bike. You know, in the tourism bit, reportedly they did 1 week's business in 3 hours. Cycle tourism supports local business. And somewhere in here, maybe it'll be on the next page, somewhere in here I think I say that in the next 2 weeks after we were there, they were expecting 2,000 cyclists to come through as a group from Velo Quebec. Imagine how much business they did on that day. Our 150 or 180 riders did a week's business in 3 hours. How did Velo Quebec do? This is another shot of on-road bike lanes. You can see these lanes are as low as 2 feet. As long as you've got an edge line, that gives you the comfort level. It doesn't need to be 1.5 meters everywhere. 2 meters is a whole lot better than nothing. A car will drive in the middle of between the yellow line and the white line. If you don't have that edge line on the side of the road, the car will drive in the middle between the edge of the road and the yellow line. You don't want that. You want that edge line. This is another one, or 2 at least, unsafe portion of the Great Waterfront Trail, one of the few areas other than Burlington's Lakeshore, Brant to Burrow Oak, without at least the safety of an edge line. Oh, Jackie, this is the finish line at the Quebec border. It's actually a 3-hole, par 3 golf course. And that's the folks at the end there. So again, some stats from GWTA. 95% agree the Waterfront Trail offers wonderful holiday opportunities. 95% great experience on GWTA will lead them to consider other cycling holidays. That's happened to us. 68% will return to visit communities in the next year. We've done that. 81% strongly agree that Waterfront Trail is important to Lake Ontario's regeneration. 86% will use the Waterfront Trail more often. 54% will consider commuting. GTA is more than, it's a fantastic way to come to know the waterfront. Perfect. This is round Lake Ontario. I have the books here if anybody wishes to do it. So what we did, we did the Waterfront Trail ride in 2011. In 2012, we varied it. We had our car-free Sunday on July 15th, I think it was July 15th. So we couldn't ride with the Waterfront Trail people who left Niagara on the Saturday. So they went through Burlington on the Sunday. We were at the car-free Sunday. So Jackie and I hopped on our bikes at 6 o'clock on Monday morning and caught up to the Waterfront Trail people in Ajax that night. So we actually rode to Ajax or Oshawa, I forget which one. And so we rode with them to Amherst View, to Kingston. Then we took the ferry across Wolf Island and then came back along the south side of the lake. Just the two of us for the balance of the trip. What a great way to see. I mean, I'll tell you, the cities, I mean, go into all kinds of stories, but the little towns and the B&Bs we stayed in, the small motels we stayed in, just a fabulous trip. And what a way. We pulled out of our driveway Monday morning and turned left. And Sunday night, we pulled back in our driveway and turned left again, did 1,000 kilometers in 7 days. So, coming up, around Lake Erie. The picture there, I just got the book about a week and a half ago. I haven't had a chance to read it at all yet. But you can see that now the Waterfront Trail people this year, they're going to drive their vehicles to Fort Erie, and then they're going to bus to Lake St. Clair, I believe north of Lake St. Clair, and then they're going to ride back. So Jackie and I will park at Fort Erie 3 or 4 days earlier. We're going to ride the South Shore, maybe spend a day in the islands here north of Sandusky, continue around, meet the Waterfront Trail folks here, and then ride the north side back home with the Waterfront Trail folks. So that's the plan for this year. Now, this is getting into the City of Burlington statistics. So this is how, first part was about having fun riding your bike and how doing it gets you doing it more and gets you more enthused about it. This is Burlington cycling lanes, our statistics. And these are thanks to Dan. As of pre-2007, we had just over 19.6 kilometers of on-road bike lanes. 2007, we added whopping 3.74, 8.44. 2009, I don't know how we did that, 0.6 of a kilometer. But then 2010, 11, and 12, much more. So we're up to 49 kilometers now, so just about exactly double. The next 3 to 5 years, we'll be aiming for an additional 12 to 15 kilometers of bike lanes. Although this is just a forecast, this number can always change. Dan's words, not mine. History of on-road reconfiguration. I've been giving you the odd little jab here, so this is the 3-2 punch, whatever. Guelph line, Walker's line, and Appleby line. We went to a public meeting, and Gene will remember that, some of the cycling people will remember that. We went to a public meeting wanting to take the New Street to Lakeshore piece of those 3 lines and reduce it from 4 lanes to 2 travel lanes, left turn lane, on-road bike lanes. We got beat up pretty badly. The staff, the councillors, and the cycling committee did. Staff backed off the proposed plan to reduce the 4 lanes to 2. Guelph line, a couple of years later, we get on the reconstruction of the piece of Guelph line from New Street to Prospect Street. And that was changing to a 5-lane configuration, 2 and 2 in a left turn lane and on-road bike lanes. At the same time, as you all should know, we did a retrofit without asking people, we just did it, on the south part of Guelph line from Lakeshore to New Street, and converted to exactly what we got beat up on a number of years before that. And the end result has been that, talking to the neighbors there, campaigning in 2010, I asked every single house I got to talk to, what do you think of the end result? I never ever got a complaint about it. People said they felt that they now lived in a more residential neighborhood instead of a 4-lane road going by their door, and their perception was the value of their homes had increased because of the ambiance, the feeling, the residential feeling that their street now had. Then after that, we went to Branch Street. I think it was after, I might have that order wrong. Shortly after the reconstruction of Branch Street to include 2 travel lanes, left turn lane, and on-road bike lanes, that was perceived as a tremendous success. Very little opposition whatsoever. Then we get back to Walker's, Appleby line, and Burl Oak. We go back out to the public again. More recently, we saw public input to convert Walker's, Appleby, and Burl Oak, new to Lakeshore, to 3 lanes and on-road bike lanes, the same as we had in the Guelph line. Again, substantial opposition, primarily from the residents who live on that particular piece of real estate. Because Oakville was not interested, we had to drop the Burl Oak from consideration. So that left us with dealing with Walker's and Appleby line. This summer, in spite of opposition, we implemented as a 2-year pilot a 3-lane reconfig on Walker's and Appleby lines. Received negative feedback in the first month, again from the people who lived right on it. No complaints since. The lanes are operating successfully, very smoothly. No traffic jam-ups, no difficulty making left turns or right turns at Lakeshore. It's working beautifully. Now, Lakeshore Road. Lakeshore Road is a dangerous, busy road that needs to be made safer now. Narrower lanes, reduced left turn lane, i.e. like 3 or 4 feet, and on-road bike lanes will contribute to that extra safety. In addition, we will then have, once we have completed the stretch from Old Lakeshore to Pearl Oak, a safe route through our community for the Waterfront Trail to join up with the beautiful on-road lanes with a 3-lane configuration into Brun, and so on into Oakville. We must do this. That is the most dangerous. I live right on Lakeshore. My dining room is, my house is very close to Lakeshore Road. It's a very, very old house. I see the traffic every morning, and I see the people using that left turn lane as a high-speed passing lane. It's exactly what people are doing because the traffic is heavy. If we increase the side friction, reduce the size of the lanes, and get rid of that left turn lane, we've gotten rid of a significant problem where people could get towed. So that's my big push. That was in my literature as my #1 goal for this particular term, and I'm determined to see it happen. So I would like to have as much support as I can from everybody I can possibly get support from. And that's my presentation, I believe. Oh, no. So now I've gone into that. Staff advisory report now coming into committee, and I did soften this a little bit in December because I'm not going to be there in November. We'll address 2 outstanding council directions related to cycling lanes on Lakeshore Road. The report may recommend that a pilot reconfiguration be taken to the public for consultation without a recommendation, after which staff will report back with the recommendation. To me, you get 75% of the people in the room saying, don't do it, and they'll think that because 75% of the people in the room said don't do it, that we won't do it. But that's not the history. The history is you make it happen, it's safe, everybody feels safer, it doesn't hurt anybody. We know very well if we go for public consultation, we'll get the same irrational public responses when we first went out with well-flying walkers and alpine. We need a recommendation on a pilot basis to repaint Lakeshore Road from well-flying to Walker's Line as above. If it doesn't work, grind the paint off and put it back. But the right way to do it is do it. Be brave. That's my presentation.